I'm Tristan Winder in the News 2 streaming studio at the Morning Pulse here on this Tuesday, February 18th. The current winter storm crippling greater Nebraska is bringing frigid cold temperatures that have the potential to be deadly to those not adequately prepared. While forecast conditions are definitely concerning, the region should steer clear of extreme slick conditions.
It's so cold, there's not a lot of moisture content in the snow, and it tends to be nice and dry and powdery, so the little wind that we have, it tends to blow off the road.
And in the midst of the current winter storm impacting the region, the North Platte City Council is set to dedicate time at their meeting this week discerning ordinances relating to the clearing of sidewalks within city limits. North Platte Mayor Brandon Kelleher tells News 2 that essentially the current ordinance in place states that sidewalks need to be cleared for safety purposes. An updated ordinance would enforce a strict 36-hour time frame from the time the snowstorm concludes for the clearing of primary sidewalks to avoid penalty.
Nearly every snowstorm, the city receives some complaints about folks who aren't cleaning up their sidewalks. So you'll drive down almost any street and you'll see most of the houses have a clear sidewalk, and often there's one that has not been cleared at all. This is to specify the parameters for clearing your sidewalks for public safety and just put the actual ordinances in place. Should someone repeatedly violate the ordinance, they would likely receive a ticket.
Other action items in front of the council this evening for their city council meeting include updates to Billwood Field's bathroom and a potential storage facility as well. And there's also going to be lengthy discussion on commissioning a Nebraska entity to conduct an extreme blight study. That would then be used for tax increment financing and micro-TIF purposes as well. Stick with News 2 for updates and developments from tonight's North Platte City Council meeting. According to the CDC, the threat of bird flu to the general public does remain low. However, there's an increasing trend of cases within commercial and wild flocks nationwide, and we've seen that here in Nebraska. The concern is growing over a new variant allowing infected mammals, and humans more easily. Now, some are worried about the safety in their food supply. However, a disease specialist with Cleveland Clinic says there is one product people should keep an eye on. Towards the end of January, officials confirmed 2 cases were found in Kearney County and Nance County in a backyard poultry flock. Despite the severe flu season going on right now, the Cleveland Clinic says that this is not linked to the bird flu. And sticking with our continued coverage of the bird flu, federal officials, including Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, expected to lay out a plan to combat the avian flu. Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, says the plan to address biosecurity issues and involves medication that would avoid killing chickens. The U.S. approach to the bird flu has long been focused on eradication, though that may be shifting gears as the virus spreads to other animals like dairy cattle and becomes harder to contain. Officials say their plan should be ready by next week. Lastly today, Southwest Airlines announcing yesterday that they'll cut 15% of their corporate workforce. That's more than 1,700 people. This is the first mass layoff in the company's history. The cuts are expected to be mostly completed by the end of June and will include some senior leadership. 11 senior executives, including some vice presidents, will be let go. Southwest says that it expects the layoffs to save the company $210 million this year and $300 million next year. The airline CEO, Bob Jordan, called for the layoffs and described them as very difficult amidst a monumental shift. Rounding out the Morning Pulse here on this Tuesday, February 18th, with a check of the 7-day forecast. Another cold one in store for us today. Obviously, can't rule out some precipitation with that as well. And cold temperatures will remain the case throughout Thursday. We do get right around that freezing mark on Friday, and then warm temperatures with some much-needed sunshine just in time for the weekend.